I want to add my welcome to everyone. I also want to add my thanks to the Metro Hartford Alliance and specifically to Oz. We have a great partnership. This is the 4th year that we've partnered on the Rising Star Breakfast in the summer, and I can tell you that my colleague, John Franklin, who you'll meet in a minute from Northern New Jersey, said he's a little envious of our relationship with our chamber here in our region. So we can certainly be proud of the ability of us to all work together here. Well, you've come today to learn about Alice, and I applaud your curiosity. In a few minutes, we'll talk a little bit more about Alice. Maybe you know Alice. Maybe you were Alice. Maybe you are Alice. I was Alice. But before we meet Alice and talk about Alice, we're going to talk about Mary. You know, Mary was raised in a working class family. She was one of 6 sisters in the family. And her family, as I say, was working class, and as Mary said, they struggled to meet the basic needs, but they met the basic needs for their family, and they all had 2 pairs of new shoes a year. Today, though, Mary is a 20-year veteran of the cable industry, and she's Regional Senior Vice President of Comcast. She's responsible for 1,700 employees, service to 800,000 customers in 300 communities. Pretty impressive. But most important for me is that Mary McLaughlin is the 2014 chair of the United Way campaign. Mary?
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Oz. I am really humbled and honored to be this year's campaign chair. And the work that the United Way does is really so critical to the families and children that it serves. And, you know, we hear lots of times that it's critical to the success or our success and our future, but it's just critical, right? If we didn't help these families and children, who would? So we're going to talk a little bit about Alice, but I also just want to talk a little bit about the campaign. I'm excited. I'm really nervous. There's a lot of money that we need to raise. And I told Susan, I said, you know, I'm not going to really feel good until we cross off that number and we make sure that we deliver on what we committed to. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to working with and meeting many of you. And I'm hoping that I can count on all of your support because it's going to take all of us, plus, to get it done. Right off the gate, I've got 2 broad goals. First, we need more. We need more money. We reached our peak in 2009. We raised about $28 million. That was terrific. Since then, I know the economy has had some challenges. Our campaign has had some challenges. We've been flat to down every year. This is the year that we turn that around and we start driving up. So that's the first goal. More money. I know easier said than done, but if we all do just a little bit more, we'll get there. The second goal is that we need more unrestricted funds in our community investment accounts. Susan and her team do a terrific job identifying the greatest need and directing dollars towards that. And we need to ensure that as much as we move the needle on the general campaign, that we move it on the community investment. So pretty simple, more money, more in community investment.